Good morning, John.
Hey Phil.
You well?
Always well, mate. As you are, I know.
Good to hear.
And look, always great to have a catch up, but today is particularly exciting for me.
Yep.
As you know, I've worked on my site, my website. That's my queue for, I suppose it's got to be 18 months now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And I've just been very fortunate that my business partner, who has done all the spade work, I mean, I know nothing about this sort of stuff, you know, and sort of obviously I'm the funder and offered some sort of advice from my side of the game. But when it comes to building a website and all the different additional software and funnels we had to build so everything went to the right spot, I left that to him and he used his people to get that finalised. But I'm very lucky that Ian Fraser, my partner, has done a brilliant job, and we're finally here where we can say, go and check it out. Now, if you're not sure where, let me just show you.
That's a very smart looking shirt. I mean, I always ask you about your shirt, John, so you can tell us.
So this is the latest version of my Vegas team.
Yeah. So
we've called TMC. I thought I've named it the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously TMC Vegas League's on here. So this is our Thursday night Vegas League shirt. And I thought it was very appropriate. You know, that our colours even sort of sync up pretty good too with the T140 colours. So yeah, really excited. Go and check it out. It's certainly well worth the look. Costs you nothing to register your queue, and certainly if you want to join what we call our queue club, for a nominal fee you get exposed. Well, opens up the door to all of our VIP interviews, podcasts, which Phil and I will be doing the majority of them. Discounts from our shop, and then obviously there's a chat room and a community area where you can chat to people from all over the world. So get on board, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I looked at your site several times and I'm really impressed with your website, John. Working with T140 and then building their stuff, I've seen the amount of time and effort, so I know how hard the effort that you've put in and what your partner would have had to do to get that site up and running. So it'd be fantastic now if the Cuesport fraternity, even just to jump on and have a look and support. So I know straight away, now you're live, I've got the perfect queue that I'm going to register, so we can talk about it next time.
Well, it was actually, the reason the whole site was developed was that queue I brought back from England for you.
Yeah.
And I actually had originally planned to give it to you, and then I needed a 9-ball queue, and I swapped it with you, and within 2 weeks it's gone, and neither of us ever seen it again.
No.
Yeah, it's gone. So that was sort of always been in the back of my brain. So what could I do to perhaps try and give it some chance of recovering it?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Keeping a digital record of your queue then gives you something you can actually send out to second-hand shops, cash converters, any of your mates. Keep an eye out for this. Yeah, and this list is some chance, and obviously for insurance purposes, once you've registered it, you can actually then claim it.
Yeah.
So lots of benefits, but that's the simple side. The rest of it's all about trying to build a community, get people involved in the game. We'll have sort of an opportunity for them to give feedback about their funniest story, their best result, whatever it may be. Yeah. But we can do that on a regular basis. But yeah, it's all about trying to build a community and get people in Cuesport, and sort of there's no preference whether you're a pool player, snooker player, 9-ball player, whatever. Then there'll be something of interest to you on the site.
So what's the address, John?
That's myqueue.com.au.
Oh, fantastic.
Nice and simple, and you'll see a bit of marketing stuff around the place if you haven't already. Obviously, where we share this particular stream, everyone will get a pretty good idea what's going on. I've talked to Elise about posting our particular interview on her site, which we haven't done before. Yeah. But I know that she said, "Look, John, I'd love to have you involved, and we'll post that on the Australian April site as well, so everyone get a pretty good idea what's going on."
Yeah, it's fantastic, John.
Yep.
Better keep it clean then, haven't we?
Oh yeah, well, we'll try to. We're fortunate. I think we don't swear too often. But yeah, obviously we've got a few things to just finalise from the World Champs.
Yep.
Certainly probably the standout performance of the World Champs had to go to Ronan McCartney.
Yeah.
I mean, he won the Masters, and also won the big cash tournament too. I don't know what they call it, but it's a separate event. But that's the one where actually, I think everyone paid to be involved in, which meant that you had the strongest field too. So, and because it wasn't just masters, he had all the young guns in there too, and for him to win both of those events is just sensational. I know that Kira's been posting a lot of pictures, because she's obviously went back to the UK, back to Stoke with Jake and JR. And she's spent quite a bit of time with Ronan and the group there too.
Yeah.
So she's thanked them very much for their hospitality, and certainly they were all very grateful for everything that they've done. I mean, Jake is just one of those guys, everyone loves him anyway, so he's never got to struggle for people helping him out, but he doesn't ask for it, they offer. And they've had a brilliant time over there. I think Kira was posted the other day, she's just on her way back. So Jake's still there for the series. I'm not sure when JR have to be coming back, because he's the captain of the Victorian Masters. So he needs to be here next week. We can get to that next. But in the teams events, Phil, I think you had a little bit more information about the teams.
Australia eventually got beaten in the semi-finals.
That's right.
By England. So obviously they probably would have been hoping to at least make the final, but they ran into a strong England side that never lost a match in the whole tournament, which I find really strange with their knockout system, John, that how England got paired with Australia in the semi. I thought it would have crossed over, but anyway, Australia got the raw end of the stick, and to win the event you've got to beat England, but
they probably should have, because they came out of the same group, didn't they?
No, it was all one group, but Australia came third. England finished top, France second, Ireland, Northern Ireland finished second, Australia were third.
So they should have played second,
So
under our system.
And on most systems, second would have gone against third in the semi-finals. And England ended up playing Australia, which I just felt they got the raw end of the stick. But anyway, they still finished equal third, which at a World Championship is still a phenomenal.
It was a good team, and then obviously Salwan did extremely well. All the teams seemed to have played pretty well, but Salwan was the standout. I think,
was he fifth in the
finished fifth in the rankings, which gave him automatic entry into the world team, which is fantastic. And
I think Ben Noonan also was in the world team as well.
I think Benny's been playing well for a little while now. Actually, it's been good to see him sort of re-enthused. Because Benny's a beautiful player to watch, and still one of the best players I've ever seen. And JR is absolute number one. I think him and Jake probably on a par with JR. Oh, JB, these guys are sensational. All credit to both those guys for what they did to help sort of for their personal result, but that assisting the team by playing well.
And Ben made the quarterfinals as well. The singles, top 5 in the world singles. So it's very good performance, especially against professionals as well.
That's right too, and they're genuine professionals. They can actually make a living out of it, and the Ultimate Series has helped develop that side of it. I mean, they've always had a pro series. It's more like semi-pro, because most of them still had jobs. I think even when back in the day when Stacey and was still going around, they still had jobs. They go away and play the tournaments probably every once a month or something like that. But certainly now they can actually genuinely make a living and do well out of it. And the Ultimate Series has certainly helped to develop that. And without the Ultimate group, the Nationals, the World Champs wouldn't have been run this time. So.
Well, maybe Ben playing on the Pocket Series this year aided him going over to England and
I think so.
being set up like a professional outfit and playing tough matches all the time. So maybe that benefited him as well.
I think so. And who knows, he might even get an invite, because you never have enough Aussies playing in the Ultimate Series. And he's certainly worthy. Skill-wise, just amazing player. So whether or not he could do it, I'm not sure. But he would never disgrace himself in that company.
And also Daniel Porter. So the duties you were telling me lost in the semi-finals also, and Daniel made the quarterfinals.
Made the quarters, He played really well after then. And that match was probably the worst match he had played. He did run into a good player, but still, the way he'd been playing prior, I thought there was every chance to get right to the pointy end and see give himself a chance of winning it, because he's been playing beautiful pool.
Still another phenomenal effort, top 5 in the world for Daniel, so that's awesome. And Shane,
Cricket made the semis, I think.
Semi-finals.
Yeah, he made semi. I reckon he made the semis of the black ball as well in Aldi.
Okay.
So yeah, he's had a pretty good trip. You come up disappointed when you lose 2 semis, but you think afterwards, you think, wow, actually that wasn't too bad a trip.
So
I featured twice.
Yeah. So all in all, it would have to be a pretty successful trip from the Aussies going over to Ireland.
Yeah. Hey, look,
semis and semi-finals and quarterfinals in singles. So.
Well, to be in the knockout stages is important. So we'll play now the round robins as we work out sort of your positioning, and it's always nice to get to the stage where you're playing in probably the most competitive area of the tournament. Because there's nothing worse than the last few days if you haven't made it, sitting around waiting for something out, waiting for the end. I think I've been there before, and I don't like it. But yeah, hey, look. All round, I think we've done very well. Good bunch, and it's good to see that we now have an opportunity to host a World Championship here sometime. It's in the discussion. I'll be attending the AGM this year after the Nationals. We'll close with that, but I think we've got other things to discuss as well. Now, couldn't we have one of our great South Australian 9-ball, 10-ball players interstate this weekend?
Well, on that note, John, we had the Australian 10-ball championship held in Sydney on the weekend, and James Georgiadis was our hot favourite for the event. And I think over there in Sydney, when I was watching it online and they were talking, he was the favourite there. Everyone felt he was going to win it.
Well, we too. We were confident that he'd actually now established the right credentials to actually go away and anticipate winning. Before he's always been a good player, but now he's learned to win. And you've raised this with me before, but now that he has found the way, perhaps we're going to see that just continue to roll. And you and I are both surprised when he didn't.
Well, he still would have finished equal fifth in the tournament, which at the beginning we'd say that's probably the higher minimum achievement he would have had to do. I watched this match where he got beat by Cedric. The guy had a phenomenal break. Like, I've not seen anyone break as well as that guy. And Jimbo just wasn't quite what we know of him. So a couple of things there. Johnny could have been under pressure. Different players, different conditions, but he got beat 9-7. But it was a double elimination, and then I didn't see that match, but he got beat by John Wims. And John Wims, also a veteran of the sport. And
look, John Wims would have come around when you were playing, so, how long since you played competitive 9-ball, 10-ball? About 20 years?
A long time ago, So, John Wims has played at the World 9-ball Championships representing Ireland, and then when he came to Australia and emigrated to Australia, then represented Australia at the World Championships.
That's right.
So,
well, you two went away together.
So John Wims, although he hasn't been around for a while, he's still a quality player, and he played Chris Calabrese in the final. Most people know his brother Vinny. But Chris Calabrese, also another warrior of.
Been around for a long time too. I think. This was the first time he's actually won a tournament.
Well,
I know he's been featured a lot.
He would have featured a lot, but to win an Australian title, he's, I would say this is his first Australian championship.
That's fantastic. To say, I'm not sure. He's got to be mid to late 40s now. And that's fantastic, and it's funny, we were talking earlier about Ronnie and all the top pros, and it seems like 44 to 48 sort of in your prime now.
Unless you hit 40, you're not in your prime. But I think for Jimbo, playing different players, different circumstances, and going up against definitely John Wims. He would never have played John Wims before, or seen him probably, and he knows Chris Calabrese. He's had lots of battles with him, but some that we spoke about in the past about Alex. These players have been around a long time. They're tough characters. They're fighters, and they know how to win. And it's just another thing that Jimbo's now got to learn. And he'll get there. As I said, he's won 2 of the last 3 tournaments. Now it's a disaster. He becomes fifth.
Oh no,
what's going on? But no, Jimbo will. you know, he's still will march on, and this is just another learning
Just a
curve
little
for him.
hiccup, and a little blip on the radar, because I'm confident he'll continue to improve, because he has his new restaurant table being installed on Thursday, I understand.
Well, the one thing I know from my career, John, is you learn the most from a defeat. When you win, you can just smooth over lots of cracks and errors, and you got fortunate. But when you lose, you
start thinking, okay, I need to fix this, and this.
Yeah, what did I do wrong? How can I overcome it? So this is just another little learning curve for Jimbo. And as I said, I felt in the match he lost, he ran into a guy with a phenomenal break, who also was a quality player. So anyway, Jimbo, well done on 5th. And we'll go to
Vinny and Whimsy. Well done.
And yeah, Chris Calabrese still winning tournaments. It gives the old. Yeah, well, Vinny, as I said, most people relate to Vinny. He's a bit younger and he's been on the pro snooker tournament, but he learned it all from his big brother Chris. And
that's right too.
As I said, Chris is also.
Well done, Chris. Winning a big title with a quality field. You know, it's not like that sort of just also around there. It was a really good
Justin
field.
was there, and Robbie Fulvari was there, and Jimbo, and all the Sydney players were there, and the Queenslanders. So it was a tough field that he
yeah. So congratulations.
Yeah. What else you got then, John?
Well, probably the next thing is that we're a week away from
the Nationals.
From the Nationals. The National starts actually on the 15th, but we'll be going over a bit earlier. So we'll be we'll leave on the 15th, but start on the 17th. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we got a little stopover. We found a nice B&B. So it's stayed one night. So we're breaking the trip up to 4.5 hours.
All the teams driving there?
No, some are travelling, flying. Everyone's going. Yeah, as long as you're there by the Thursday morning for registration, then they're all happy.
Good old days, John. You had to rock up in your uniform or at the airport.
I know, yeah. The good old days, we actually had an association that had cash. They used to pay for us.
Okay.
And that was very good. So you said, I'm happy to wear the uniform and be on time if they're paying.
Yeah.
I remember on one of my particular trips, I think it was my first ever, first one to the Worlds.
Yeah.
There were some particular officials that sort of were trying to dictate when I should go and where and how.
Yeah.
And I go, well, look, the year that you pay for my travel, you can dictate. I'll go exactly where you want to be when
That's
you
very
want.
cool.
But I'm pushing my cash, and I'm taking 5 weeks. I'm taking my wife. We're going to have a holiday.
Yeah.
So I'll be there in Manchester at the appropriate time. But before and after that, you've got no control over my movements. I'm sorry, but I thought it was. Yeah, and it was. Yeah, I was quite annoyed. I mean, how dare you?
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. If they're pushing, they're covering your costs. I'm more than happy to play the game. But when you're paying your money, and like you were paying top dollar back in the 90s, as we say, a bit similar to what we're paying now to travel.
That's right.
There's no discount fares or anything like that. You pay through the nose.
Yeah.
So interesting stuff. But yeah, certainly national start in Albury next week. They'll be streamed. We have a couple of new events. We're going to be bringing back the double. Well, one old event's being returned. So we've got doubles, we've got masters doubles, open doubles, ladies doubles, and juniors. Then we have, juniors. Sorry, the juniors will be played separately. Then they've introduced the Australia Cup. So the Australia Cup is effectively each state putting in teams of potential state players.
Yeah.
So people have never played for the state before, or sort of aspire to play at that level, and opportunities for them to get exposed to all of that pressure and excitement.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great idea, and we're just fortunate there that we've got 32 tables, and we'll need it, because they've got lots of events. I've had a look at that calendar. It's highly, it's so busy that you'll be doing something just about every hour of the day. And the one regret I have is that there doesn't seem to be a window anywhere where, in the old days we always took the team out. Take the team out and we go to have dinner somewhere, we do some bonding, where now it's all the teams matches are played at the same time.
Do you still two play each other twice, though, John?
Yes.
Because when I first started, you only played on once.
That's right, no, and so yeah, well that's right. I'll go back to the start, at the very beginning. There was only one round, and then you sorted out your semis and final from that. In fact, one round first year, we only had one round of finals.
Yeah.
That was it. It's certainly a much longer, required a little more endurance. I'm not playing in the Masters thing, but I've been selected as the Masters team manager, which gives me access to playing the singles, so I get to knock some balls around as well. But yeah, certainly our Masters team. I think with this year's Masters, I'm disappointed I didn't make it because there's so many of these other teams that have guys that were there when I was there in the 80s. So I see a lot of faces. Like for instance, I think we've got Sonny Lister, Alan Brown, Adrian Lancaster, all from the West, and a couple of other guys. I'm sorry, their names just aren't jumping out of my head, but they all played through my era. Well, particularly Sonny, he was originally he played in '84 as I did, so he was part of the first nationals ever. And then they go to Victoria, you got JR and I think Cran Reilly. So yeah, Cran and JR were part of that '96 World Championship team in England. So yeah, and they're good mates. They come over here quite regularly. But I'd love to be in there scrapping with them. But
at least you're there, John.
I'll be there. I'll be encouraging my crew, and look, we've got a fantastic team. JL's already organised. I think we've had 3 shows at his house already. And we've sort of tried to make a contribution this time. So I took some salads and cheese along, and a couple of bought a cheesecake, and Calvin bought some bits and pieces, and he still put on too much food. But it's been. I can't certainly. I can't fault what JR's done to try and. JL's done rather to try and develop that. But it's a good bunch of guys anyway. So it was never going to be difficult, but he's done a brilliant job. We're a week away from travelling.
Well, good luck, John.
Thanks, mate.
I'm sure you'll win.
I think and that's probably a wrap for us today, mate. Thanks again.
I've got some sneaker news.
Oh, sorry.
Come on. Give me a break. I've got. We've had the President's Cup this last week, and in the calendar, that's really a fun event for the Snooker Association. Barry Jenner, who's been the president, he's always there. He stepped down for president this year. He's done his term as president, and they re-elect the president at the end of this month in the AGM. So, unfortunately, Barry wasn't there because he's over in WA at the moment. He would have been there, but it's always been a fun event where the committee and all the associated players are playing the event. So we won one day of snooker, one day of billiards.
Yep.
So on the snooker, player Mohan Garun, he's one of our Nepalese players. He's plays in the league. He's won a couple of the T140 events this year, and he played unbelievable in the snooker. And he blitzed the group. I was in his group in the morning section, and he comfortably beat everyone.
Sure.
But as you know, John, it's about winning the final, not about getting through the groups. And then in the final, he smashed everybody in the final, and he won it easy. So Mohan was successful. So well done, Mohan. In second place was Peter Udich.
Oh yeah, the bun.
So the bun was up there, and then in third place was John Molnar. So,
okay. I know Johnny's back.
Johnny was in. Yes, you need to talk to him because he's got 100 Qs for your website.
That's right too. No, he's actually we were talking about that. Yeah.
And so that was the snooker, and then they run a plate event, and Mark Potter got up and won his first tournament. So Mark won the plate, played very well as well. So congratulations, Mohan winning the snooker and Mark Potter winning the plate event. And then in the billiards. And we spoke about Rob Hall earlier. We met Rob. He's top 2 or 3 in the world. Well, we always associate billiards with the older generation.
Yes.
And it's more of a traditionalist game, and the youngsters are not really involved. Well, on the weekend, the winner of the billiards was Jason Yu, coming in at 13.
Wow.
And the winner of the plate was Ben Zalco, coming in at 18. So the 2 juniors from our association won both events. And Jason Yu, we all know about Jason, we've been speaking about Jason, and part of his development, we've got him involved in the Billiard League, John, because we feel that billiards will benefit all your sports, and that's where it's overlooked, because if you learn the half ball shot, and it's an amazing shot to learn,
Yeah.
it can benefit all the sports you're playing.
Absolutely.
So we got Jason involved in the billiards, and he is, just like the other sports, is a sponge, taking it on board. So in the billiards was run slightly different to the snooker. We had round robins and semis and finals. So in the round robin, Jason beat Peter Yidich. So this was a handicapped event, but he still beat Peter Yidich.
Yep.
As a SA legend at billiards.
Absolutely.
And then in the semi-final we played Arthur Karanis, who's the current state champion. I beat Arthur in the semis, and then in the final we played Nes Fernandez, also another enthusiast and the defending champion.
Okay.
And Jason beat Nes in the final. So Jason played exceptional on that day. He was the standout on the day. And then in the plates, we had an amazing match in the semi. It was between Ben Zalco and Peter Yidich.
Yep.
So it's handicapped and you play for half an hour, and it was a tie at the end of the match, which is really rare in billiards. So what do? So what we decided to do was an additional 10 minutes, and, and then had a third of the original handicap. So they played for another 10 minutes, and Ben Zalco was 1 point behind with the last shot of the game, and he potted Peter's white ball, got 2 points to win by a point. So all I can say is the handicapping was pretty good.
Pretty accurate, yeah.
So so Ben was very, very pleased on beating Peter Yidich to make the final. And we won't talk much about the final because Ben played exceptionally well and defeated some Phil Reilly in the final. So forget about that, but no, Ben played exceptionally well. So getting back to Rob Hall, he would be so pleased today that we had a billiards event and our two youngest players in the association won the event.
13 and 18 is fantastic. You know, and hopefully they can maintain that interest. You know, I know Jason's aspirations are in the snooker world, and that's fantastic. But certainly having that billiard knowledge, particularly in safety,
where the white's going.
Where the white's going. I'm chipping off here, I'm going to hit a quarter ball, actually I need to be a bit thinner than quarter, pinch a running side, 2 cushions, get down behind the green or whatever the shot may be. But if you can understand travel lines that don't represent a pot line, and that's the thing. You know, as you learn, you see all the natural pot lines. I pot here, the white ball goes there, etc. But when you're not potting, how do I get the white down here? And billiards will certainly help immensely.
The one thing I learned from that, John, is when we play all our Cuesports, the only ball you're really controlling is the object ball. Sorry, is the cue ball for your position. Where billiards teaches you now to control two balls. You've got to actually get your object ball to go there, and your white ball has to go there. So it teaches you some other qualities, and the more information you got, the better you're going to be.
And as you said earlier, it's transferable for whatever code you play. You know, it's a valuable skill to learn early, because it is whether you're going to play 9 ball, snooker, 8 ball, carom billiards, whatever it may be. But you know, that side of the game is underappreciated, I think. You know, people just want to go and pop balls.
So that was fantastic news. And then I'll just finish off, John. We started a new league in the room this week. So we just spoke about youth. Well, we just started an Adelaide Senior Billiards and Snooker League, which is over 60s. We're running it during the daytime.
I don't get my invite, Phil. Sorry.
Well, guess what? You can get in the next one. But anyway, we're running an 8-week season. It's run during the day between 1 and 3. And the response we had was excellent. So we got 8 players in Cole Conlon, Sue Martin, Harold, who else we got in there? Alan Nelson, Roger Davey, Nes Fernandez. I'm sorry if I forgot anyone else, but we've had a fantastic turn up, John. So it's on a Friday afternoon, and they've gone back to so not only the seniors, we've gone back to the original format where they play 2 frames of snooker and 1 game of billiards, John. So,
a half-hour billiards?
They're playing an hour of billiards and 2 frames of snooker.
Okay.
So that started last week, and that was a fantastic turnout, and we've had actually more people asking about it. So
that's good.
We try to do it during the day because not everyone wants to go out at night time, and they're retired. And
most of the people are retired. So
so that was something new that we've started as well. So anyone's interested in being part of that when we start a new season, let us know and we'll get them involved. So
well, certainly let me know, because I've been trying to find a way to get back on the snooker table. And I think something like that will keep me entertained.
Hopefully in season.
Yeah, and it's not like it's going to be a great great difficulty for me to get Friday afternoons on.
Yeah.
You know, so that should be good.
All right.
Okay, mate.
John, it's always a pleasure.
Yes, it is. Yes.
We spoke again non-stop. Anyway, we've got so much to talk about.
Hey, was it a little bit of activity to discuss? So, thanks everyone. TMC, get on board. Thank you.
Ooh.